Here, you can have mine.
Yeah.
Okay, so which one free or no?
I'm Bree.
You're Bree.
Bree, Brianna, whichever.
Okay, Rasmussen
Yep.
and
AJ.
Rasmussen. Okay. we- yeah, I think it was a very good explanation
Okay.
you had in there, which helps. And I think Commissioner Reed went down to GIS, and found out that there was probably an error in that.
I did in our recorder's office. It was
Okay.
keyed in wrong.
Okay.
And in fact, they're correcting it for sure today.
Okay.
It was
That's
still on our maps incorrectly, so it's clear that there was a mistake in the address.
So the request is cancellation of penalty and interest.
Do we need to hear anything else? A reason why not? Because it was definitely,
I don't
So-
think so. I think at this point that would be fair.
a motion. That's the motion I would make.
Yeah,
What was the amount?
I look at the date and I'm like, that was a very confusing time of
yeah.
everything. So
I'm not sure if we saw what the amount is, what the total amount is.
I don't have that total amount. Did you have a copy of your tax?
I didn't bring it, of course. I came from work, so I just told him to
That's
print stuff off and didn't have him go
It
through
would
papers
just be
too
for
much.
the 2021 year, I think, right?
Yeah, it's just the 2021 year. We paid because we didn't file for the 2020 year because we moved in during, the height of all the happenings, so we didn't get around to filing it. So it's just the 2020.
On homeowners exemption. So we're just,
We need to backdate the homeowners exemption as well to cover 2021.
that's what my question is.
I don't think you had any penalty and interest, do you? I think all you were asking for is just the homeowner's exemption for 2021.
There is a penalty and
Is there?
interest on there. I think just with probably the confusion of addressing.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I
that's
didn't.
just-
we
Yeah,
didn't
we just want to
really
make sure that
understand.
we get everything that we're supposed to get. So
Run that by.
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
When
Perfect.
was the, when were they aware they didn't have the homeowners exemption?
So Bree contacted me on the 4th of April, I believe.
Right.
The 4th of,
22.
yeah, just 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, just
Okay.
recently.
And was inquiring about the homeowner's exemption. She had stated that she had sent an email. I have no email, but that doesn't mean that it
She
didn't.
has a copy of the
Um,
email she sent. Okay,
yeah.
now I'm putting it all back
Yeah.
together.
I have hundreds of emails. I
No,
don't get. They go to a judge instead of me.
And so,
No, you're good.
at that point, I did ask her to resend what she had sent so that we did have a copy of that. She also sent something that was dated for the 4th for 22, just so that we could get it on the books for definite for now. So I did ask her to make sure that I did excuse me, I'm so sorry, that I did get that so that we could go ahead and file it starting going forward. And then we could have the meeting with the commissioners because there was nothing I could do about going back. And so,
So when did you actually occupy?
So we occupied in 2020, in February of 2020. But until I called her last year, I was unaware about filing a homeowner's exemption because we don't go through escrow or anything for ours. And so we just paid taxes in full for the 2020 year without the homeowner's exemption.
You didn't know that
Yeah,
existed.
we didn't know it existed. So,
But this email you sent was 2021.
yeah,
So it should have been 2021.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. So that's all we're
have
asking
to
for
argue.
is
It's a
2020.
little different when somebody says I dropped it in the mail and they
Right.
show an email.
right,
Yeah.
Okay, I think that changes probably.
yeah, so I should include that on the motion, that it would also make the homeowners exemption
Backdated.
retroactive to 2021.
Probably need to inform Rochelle and she can go through, you've already paid the taxes.
We haven't paid our taxes for
Okay.
2021 yet, just because I just barely got the notice on the 4th. And I didn't know if we wanted me to pay
It's
in
actually less
full and then we.
complicated if you haven't, because you
Yeah.
have to issue the refund.
so and then with the confusion of the addresses and parcel numbers,
Yep.
anything that we would have sent out to them concerning that would have went to the wrong address and it would have concerned the wrong parcel number. So
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Even on the map, the parcel number's incorrect.
it is still incorrect.
Trish was gonna clear it up.
We put in, when I talked to Brianna on the 4th, I went back and talked to mapping about it again and did ask them. They printed me off some paperwork showing that, you know, it went from this to this and then it went back to this, and per a phone call. Anyway, the notice that we would have sent them saying, hey, you forgot to file your homeowner's exemption, you know, get that in as soon as possible. We didn't have that information to be able to make them aware that they hadn't filed yet.
So
So
just to be clear, this reinstates the homeowner's exemption for 2021.
That's
Okay.
kinda hard to
So
read.
that amount will come off what they're going to bill you, and minus any penalty and interest on the whole tax bill.
So how quick? We'll make sure then that the treasurer's office sends out a new tax bill for
Or
2021.
has the amount that's available, and then they can go right over to the treasurer's.
Yeah, we
office.
can,
Is where that's past due now. We just need to get it cleared up as soon as possible. So you can-
Right, to make sure they don't try and charge interest. penalties
Maybe
on it.
Kayla can get a hold of
Yeah.
Rochelle,
Mhm.
and then, you know, I'm guessing Rochelle could calculate it even when they're down here on your way. So, you know, that's another
Or
area.
if you want to walk across the street.
yeah, either way works for us. I've got a checkbook in the car that I can write it out of, or if you guys want to send us another bill, I can come drop by. I just work over at Battelle, so I can drop by anytime
And
easily.
this guy doesn't work.
Let
He's
me
just
call her.
fishing.
Easy.
New
What's the
guy.
right
Hi.
parcel number? Do you want it?
Let's see the side of the hat.
Yeah, I work for the South
Right,
Fork
parcel
office.
number?
Yeah,
What is the
Yeah.
parcel number
that'd
for
be a
the-
dream job.
It's been a good run. It's 16 years. It'll be
Oh,
this
really?
year. Yeah.
Brian, do we have to write?
What's the parcel number so I can call Rochelle? The right, what will show the taxes that she owes.
I
You'll
know,
have
I'm
to
like,
call
I don't know.
Rochelle.
Maybe,
Or
maybe,
or Trish.
Maybe we'll call her.
Maybe we should all go to Rochelle.
Can I steal your packet real quick?
we'll try to get it as correct as we can. but-
Maybe we'll call her real quick.
So where is your, I
So,
was trying to read that map and there's a number on there I can read.
Yeah, agreed.
yeah, we're on Green Willow. So I actually, just before I came, looked up and I think it's still shows the 852.
It does.
So I was like, I don't know if we're talking about, do we need to change our address on everything? Like, where are
No.
we in that? So,
You're supposed to be the 882.
okay, that's good to know.
So we put in, the day that I talked to you on the
Uh-huh.
4th, I went back and talked to mapping and had them look through everything from the beginning of when the plat map was set until now.
Okay.
At that time, on the 4th, we sent information over, a route slip over to data to have everything changed to the 882
Okay.
address. And Jill, who is in our mapping department, was going to contact them and let them know that this is what needed to happen
Okay,
on this parcel,
awesome.
so that you guys didn't have to change
Who was she gonna
addresses.
contact?
So I believe she was gonna contact data to let them know as well. So we went ahead and sent in our own form for the change in mailing address
To data.
to data.
So you did that directly.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did that directly.
Make sure that got there.
And so we were I checked before we came over and they still hadn't been able to change that over yet. So
Okay.
we're just waiting for that change to come through. But we did file the homeowner's exemption under the 882
Okay.
address.
And that's
So
what I
we do
remember, if
have
you were
that.
like, just file it as 882
Yeah.
because it'll make it so much simpler than trying to figure it all
Yeah.
out.
Treasurer doesn't have it hanging out there.
So
Yeah, that's what I'm just not sure of the process. We should,
Why
Well,
in
if
a
they
couple
go-
days, if you work down here, maybe. give it a
Yeah, I'm
couple
just-
days.
Yeah, as soon as you get confirmation that data's done, and tell them this is kind of a high priority.
What we don't want to do is cause confusion in the treasurer's office because you go in and pay and it's the wrong address and you're gonna
Yeah.
change the address. and-
No, just
Right.
one, just tell me when and I can go over
Yeah.
and pay it. It's no big deal at all.
We're from the government, we're not here to help you, we're here to screw it up even worse.
I'm a federal contractor, so I get that. I do contracts with, I'm in acquisitions with
Oh,
Patel, so
okay.
Oh,
I
are
get
you?
that whole thing.
My son-in-law just started with acquisitions.
Oh, did he?
Corey Kerr.
I,
He's doing his orientation stuff.
Oh,
They
so-
had him come get a laptop and go home
It's
with
probably the
Yeah.
same group
his
that
orientation stuff.
Yeah, I just started a couple months ago, so he
Just-
probably is just in this
Just
next
retired
round.
from, from
Oh, that's awesome.
How's the fishing up there, by the way? It's
supply sergeant.
been
Well,
good, hasn't it?
it's
Yeah, I'm in
good.
service.
Let's see the weather
Yeah,
out
I'm a
there.
service
He's thrilled.
acquisition,
He's like,
so
We pulled our
Lab,
trailer up
lab
to
acquisitions.
Oh, did you?
And you can tell.
so he
the
probably goes
bridges,
with my material
there's no
side of it.
place to
I'm the
park.
service
I've
side.
got my
Yeah, he's
first
definitely material.
official trip of the year on Thursday. It's 20 guys from Soda Springs that aren't afraid of the snow, so we're gonna go brave it.
So, do you guide?
I do.
Where?
Up in Swan Valley on the South Fork of the Snake or the South Fork Lodge. So,
What hatches are now blooming on? Is that-
yeah, or midges, you
There's so
know.
many fishermen out. Yesterday, you could have walked from one side to the other and not gotten wet.
I bet, you know,
And the
you've
water's
seen the
not deep
weather,
enough
you
to
know, I
float.
was almost ready to turn on my sprinklers
That's-
last night.
Everybody
It's
out
crazy.
there,
It's
their knees are above water.
It's gonna be
Is
a
it?
There was
mess.
a mom with a little kid in the backpack on their back,
Park.
and a little kid
He'll
about this
go
tall
out
with
and
waders on it,
just
so they keep it.
Oh, that's so
That
cute.
is so neat.
That is so
Yeah.
cool.
It looks like there's
I'm having
room
full
taxes on
problem.
both
Yeah.
parcels.
No.
There's two parcels.
Okay.
She's looking
I
at
live
it
up
now,
there.
so I just said, will you talk to Trish?
That's
Will
exciting.
she just get on Zoom?
That's like
Do
our
we
goal
need
is
Trish
eventually
on
to
too?
migrate up there.
You know,
If she
Does he
can,
take you?
maybe.
Let me call Trish.
Does he take
My
you?
wife and I have
no,
never fished
I
the
just,
South Fork.
Oh, you
I'm not
haven't?
as sure footed as I.
Where else?
I hadn't
But-
until I
No, I
married
used to
him, and
fish
now
that
I've done it a
South Fork
couple
all the time.
times,
Oh,
so.
yeah.
And now it's so embarrassing.
He figures about 6.5 pounds.
That's a good fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm gonna meet a lot of interesting people, that's for sure.
So where do you put in?
I can pick a lot of different places, but I can fish anywhere from the dam all the way to Manan.
You're doing the upper this on Thursday right now?
On Thursday, I'll put in at the dam and end at our lodge. there in
Hey,
Tony.
are you in your office?
Hopefully,
I'm
you hop
working
on our
the
Zoom?
Guide slide.
We're trying to settle all this to make sure we got everything
oh,
correct.
what's the
Michelle's gonna get on.
issues with that?
Yeah, it's a cattle crossing.
Oh, it'd be
It's not
just
actually road access.
Join Zoom with the commissioner number,
Fish
yeah,
again.
529-1360.
BLM is supposed to put in a good ramp half a mile upstream. So
From-
BLM has problems.
She's working.
From the slide?
Yeah.
I think
Oh,
it'll
just
help
half
us
a
to
mile
all
upstream,
be in the same.
where BLM has
Spot here to
property
get
in
this
it when we
cleared
were
up.
above it, that didn't put you out into the current.
Right.
Okay.
The guide slide.
Now,
I
is it
think
letting
that's
in?
the one you're gonna be operating on.
The
both,
actual
is
site
this
itself
parcel number
is.
here. I'm
Cross
I'm
private
pretty
property.
sure.
You get to it.
I know it's
Part
all,
of that-
as soon as
part
I
of that-
started to look
Yeah,
into it, I said,
yeah.
oh my gosh, what?
50 feet closer to the.
Well, I'm
Then it's
really
supposed
glad
to
that you
I
called.
know in the years past, you know, if we use it, we've had to park
I-
down on the
You know,
corner.
Worse
we're
now,
still
you have
living
to
in
park, go
pandemic
down by
times,
the
so I'm
trolley
like, I don't even know
barns.
where to begin, like.
Yeah, there's some guides from Jackson.
We moved in, of course, like walk down, so I'm like,
Guide
I'm sure
service.
that had to do a lot with everything.
Island Park,
Access
Jackson,
camera.
Up there, yeah.
that are coming down. the road.
Keep walking around.
Did you want me to come over to the office?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
No, we go ahead and read the
This end.
parcel numbers.
So we're trying to clear this up with the address correction and mistake on the 882 Green Willow. And we wanted to know what is owed on the 2021, but now I'm hearing there's two different lots.
Correct. There is a parcel that is actually an inactive parcel that split out or changed parcel numbers in 2020. And it says due to the survey map. It changed parcel number from ending in well, it was actually, go ahead.
Their screen, I've got the map.
Here you go. He's putting it in.
I can't see it. It's pink.
So the original parcel was RPB 402-601-20050. That changed to a parcel RPB 402-701-20080. there is tax owing on the parcel ending in 20050 for tax years 2019 and 2020. Looks like they had a supplemental tax that was billed in 2019, and then they were billed in 2020, and it probably was for when they dug a hole. Let me look to see if it shows me.
You guys didn't even move into 2020, correct? Yeah, they didn't even own the property in 2019.
Did you guys buy from the developer?
Yeah, we bought
Liberty
from
Homes.
Homes.
That was probably their Liberty stuff. Which
And-
property is yours?
This one right here.
Yeah.
And the tax number is
Yeah.
incorrect with
Look at
parcel.
this map. What's that one?
Yeah, the one that you're on.
The parcel number is incorrect here. We're only showing the one parcel number.
Because the platted number, it was
Hmm.
originally platted with lot 5. And then with the amendment of Bridge 7 to turn to Bridge 7 Amendment 1, it went from a lot 5 to block 12, lot 9. And that's where the parcel number had to be changed to reflect the current block and lot.
I don't see two lots. I don't understand why we have two.
Fixed it.
So let me give you some background that might help.
Okay,
We bought our lot and our house plan on our lot. Our developer misread the property
Setback.
setbacks and easements, so he had to buy the property next to it, had to adjust the property lines, rip out our foundation and start over.
So that would be the property to the north. or the
How
one-
exciting.
This has
To
just
build
been
it
a lot
twice.
of
You can
fun,
see
yeah.
it.
it's now owned by Joshua Berry.
Yeah,
But it was previously owned by Liberty Homes as well. So they had to do a property adjustment.
It
They
just
had to-
sounds to me like you
That'd be
shouldn't
why
have
that
two.
line comes in and then goes up.
You shouldn't owe
Right.
taxes on two different parcel numbers.
Well, Rochelle,
Yes.
however we do it, we're reinstating the homeowners exemption because it went to wrong addresses. You know, it was our mistake for 2020 and canceling any 21 and canceling any and all penalties and interest. And we just wanted to make sure they had an amount because they could either come over today to pay it or we can wait a couple days to try to sort it out. But we're going to, they're going to pay the balance minus penalty and interest and giving them credit for the homeowners for 2021.
But we've still got some work to do.
Yeah,
because
if
there
there's
shouldn't be any
taxes owed from
taxes.
2020,
There
that's
shouldn't,
prior to them.
yeah, be any taxes owed from 2019. And there should only be one parcel.
Well, and part of it might be related to that other parcel, because there is another parcel involved that ends in 2008.
Okay, so which one of you on the screen, whose job is it to figure out what happened? And figure out what's
I
owed?
have to go over to the assessor's office to verify that change. But right now, what is outstanding, the tax that was billed in 2021 was $3,942.20, and that tax hasn't been paid. The 2020 tax on this parcel was paid, and it looks like Brianna Rasmussen paid it, and Anthony Rasmussen paid it. Well, it looks like by credit card.
That
So they paid
included-
it in 2020.
but,
They paid the
did-
supplemental tax on it.
Did any of that?
They just didn't pay 21s.
Did any of that go towards penalty and interest on that payment? When you record?
No, they paid it on time. They paid the supplemental tax on time for 2020. They paid the what was due in March, and then they paid what was due in June.
But
They just didn't pay what was due in December and June of this year.
What you're talking about is a 2019 tax that may not have been cleared up.
No, this is on the parcel ending in 20090. It was established in 2020. That was the first billing was 2020. 2020 was paid in full on time. 2021, they have not paid the first installment that was due in December.
That's
Not sure
because,
why they would have paid the,
that's because they questioned the homeowners. They had sent an email, basically got lost in the shuffle and with the confusion. We're reinstating the homeowners. So you'll have to calculate the 20 or the taxes that are owing. You'll have to recalculate those based on the homeowner's exemption being applied and any penalty and interest that have come on because they didn't get it paid.
for the
The why-
first installment.
The why is because the address was, it was assigned an incorrect address. So the address that our records show was not the correct address, which Trish is getting fixed. Right, Trish?
Yes, it is already fixed. It was fixed April 6th.
Okay, so what do you need to
So
do?
they must have gotten the 2020 tax year tax okay. That's just strange that they didn't get 2021.
Because they
Correct.
just purchased.
I mean, I get,
They just purchased it.
I think because the addresses were wrong, there was an 882 and an 852. I think we've received partial correspondence for taxes. Like, I don't think we've received all of
other
the,
lot,
yeah, like some of the tax documents we get, some of them we don't, just because of the addressing issues. It just is, that's at the discretion of the postal service. If they know that Brianna and Anthony Rasmussen are at 882, even though it's addressed to 852,
Okay, so Rochelle,
and they don't.
so what would you like me to do?
we would like you to calculate the tax that would be due, granting the homeowner's exemption. We'll do that retroactively. And
Okay.
canceling any penalty and interest. This is my next meeting,
Yeah, just-
which we've got to wrap this one up. And canceling any penalty and interest so they can get it paid, because that's what they're waiting for, to write the check. As soon as you can get a total on that.
Well, I would be happy to get them a total right away if they want to step over to our office.
And they can leave you a check, and then we just need to make sure it's all cleared up.
Okay, that'll work.
All right. Thanks, Trish.
I'll have an
I
amount for
just-
you when you get there, okay?
Perfect.
Okay.
I put in there where some of the downfall might have been. It looks like a quick claim was rejected in 2020, which might have led to a missing of billing information.
Who's waiting in the room?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
We
I
own-
gotta do-
I know, but
I'll go in and log it from there.
There must have been a clerk
We can transfer host to
got
you.
rejected or something.
Go ahead and do it until I'm not gonna log in and transfer to me.
Okay, my
Thanks.
only concern, and I didn't want to add the confusion online, is I heard 2019,
Yeah.
that there was something due in 2019. So we might need to make sure that isn't there.
Ding
I'm not
or
sure. I
something
never
should
understand
cleared up
that.
by the
I'm
developer.
gonna stop the recording.
You want me to let him in?
Stop it first, the recording, and then, yeah.